Some on-screen couples feel polished. Some feel dramatic. And then there are very rare pairs who feel quietly real, almost like people you might know in everyday life. Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu belong to that rare category. Their connection did not rely on loud gestures or exaggerated emotion. Instead, they showed something softer and more believable. They showed how romance can feel simple, natural, and deeply human. When they first appeared together on screen, there was no sense of trying too hard. Their presence felt unforced, as if the story was unfolding on its own rather than being pushed forward by dramatic tricks. Viewers noticed it immediately. The way they looked at each other, the pauses between their words, and the quiet moments they allowed to breathe all created a feeling of authenticity. It felt less like watching actors perform and more like watching two people slowly understand each other. What made their romance stand out was balance. Neither character dominated the emotional space. Barış brought calm strength and grounded energy, while Elçin added warmth, curiosity, and emotional clarity. Together, they created a rhythm that felt honest. Conversations flowed naturally. Silences felt meaningful instead of awkward. This balance made their scenes relatable, especially to viewers who believe love grows through everyday moments rather than dramatic declarations. Their performances showed that romance does not always need big words. Often it lives in small details. A glance held for half a second longer. A smile that appears and disappears quickly. A moment of hesitation before speaking the truth. These details are easy to miss, but they are exactly what make relationships feel real. Barış and Elçin understood this instinctively, and that understanding shaped every scene they shared. Another reason their romance felt so real was emotional restraint. They never rushed feelings. Instead of jumping from strangers to soulmates overnight, their connection developed step by step. Trust formed slowly. Respect came before passion. This pacing allowed the audience to grow with them. Viewers did not just watch the romance, they experienced it alongside the characters. Elçin's performances added emotional depth without excess. She expressed vulnerability through subtle changes in expression rather than dramatic outbursts. Her character often felt like someone learning how to be brave in quiet ways. Barış, on the other hand, portrayed steadiness. His character listened more than he spoke. When he did speak, his words felt earned. This contrast created emotional harmony rather than conflict. What truly set them apart was how comfortable they seemed together. Comfort is difficult to fake on screen. It shows in body language, timing, and trust. Their scenes suggested an ease that comes from understanding each other's rhythm. That comfort allowed romance to feel safe, not fragile. It showed love as something supportive rather than overwhelming. Their chemistry did not rely on perfection. In fact, small imperfections made it stronger. Misunderstandings happened. Doubts appeared. But these moments never felt toxic or harmful. They felt human. The story allowed space for growth, reflection, and learning, which made the romance feel mature and respectful. Audiences around the world connected to this approach. Many viewers saw reflections of their own relationships in these characters. Not everyone lives a dramatic love story. Most people experience love through shared routines, quiet support, and emotional understanding. Barış and Elçin captured that truth beautifully. Another important element was mutual respect. Their characters treated each other as equals. Decisions were discussed, not forced. Feelings were acknowledged, not ignored. This respectful dynamic sent a positive message without feeling like a lesson. It simply felt natural, which made it powerful. As the story progressed, their bond deepened without losing simplicity. Love did not change who they were. It helped them become more confident versions of themselves. That idea resonated strongly with audiences. Romance was shown as something that adds to life, not something that consumes it. In a world full of exaggerated love stories, Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu reminded viewers that simplicity can be just as moving. Their romance felt real because it respected time, emotion, and human complexity. It showed that love does not need to shout to be heard. Sometimes it only needs honesty. This is why their on-screen partnership continues to be remembered and appreciated. It was not about grand gestures. It was about connection. And that connection felt genuine from the very beginning. As the story moved forward, what became clearer was not just romance, but emotional understanding. Barış Arduç Elçin Sangu showed that love does not suddenly appear fully formed. It grows through listening, patience, and shared experience. Their characters did not rush toward certainty. Instead, they allowed space for questions, doubts, and quiet realizations, which made every step feel earned. One of the strongest elements of their on-screen connection was how naturally they handled emotional shifts. When happiness arrived, it felt light and calm. When tension appeared, it was controlled and thoughtful. There was no unnecessary exaggeration. Their reactions matched real life, where emotions often exist beneath the surface rather than on display. This restraint helped the audience trust what they were seeing. Their conversations carried weight, without being heavy. Often, a simple exchange revealed more than long explanations ever could. A few words, spoken honestly, were enough to show changing feelings. Barış's calm delivery balanced Elçin's expressive clarity, creating scenes where both characters felt heard. This mutual attention gave the romance depth and credibility. Another reason their love story felt authentic was emotional safety. Neither character tried to overpower the other. Disagreements did not turn into battles. Instead, they became moments of reflection. This approach showed that conflict does not have to break connection. It can strengthen it when handled with respect. Many viewers found comfort in this portrayal because it reflected healthy communication. Their shared scenes often focused on everyday moments rather than dramatic turning points. Walking side by side, sharing quiet smiles, or simply being present together carried emotional meaning. These moments reminded viewers that love often lives in routine rather than in rare, intense events. By highlighting this truth, the story felt grounded and relatable. Trust played a central role as their bond developed. Trust was not assumed. It was built slowly. Each small decision, each honest conversation added another layer. Barış's character showed trust through consistency, while Elçin's character expressed it through openness. Together, they created a sense of emotional security that allowed romance to grow without fear. What stood out was how both characters retained their individuality. Love did not erase their personal goals or identities. Instead, it supported them. They encouraged each other's growth without control or pressure. This balance between togetherness and independence made the relationship feel mature and realistic. The audience could sense that their connection was based on understanding rather than idealization. They did not see each other as perfect. They saw each other clearly. This clarity allowed affection to feel deeper because it was rooted in truth. Loving someone as they are, not as you imagine them to be, was a quiet theme running through their story. Elçin's performance continued to bring emotional honesty. She showed how vulnerability can be a strength rather than a weakness. Her character did not hide feelings, but she also did not let emotions overwhelm her judgment. Barış complemented this with steady presence. His character offered reassurance through actions more than words, reinforcing the idea that love is often shown rather than spoken. As viewers followed their journey, many began to feel emotionally invested not because of suspense, but because of sincerity. The story did not rely on shock. It relied on connection. Each step forward felt meaningful because it respected emotional realism. Another subtle strength of their romance was timing. Important moments were never rushed. The story allowed pauses where feelings could settle and understanding could deepen. These pauses made the relationship feel lived in, as if time truly passed between scenes. This sense of time made growth believable. By this stage, it became clear why their partnership resonated so strongly. They showed that romance does not need constant excitement to remain engaging. It needs truth, care, and shared presence. Their characters offered a model of love that felt calm yet powerful, gentle yet lasting. Part 2 of their story reinforced one central idea: real romance is built through everyday respect and emotional honesty. Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu made viewers believe not because they tried to impress, but because they chose to be sincere. Their journey continued, deeper and steadier, leaving audiences ready to follow whatever came next, not for drama, but for the quiet beauty of connection.